Welcome to The Explainer. So glad you're here, because today we're tackling a topic that literally transformed the entire internet. Think about it for a second. Millions of tiny, independent websites have slowly evolved into massive, revenue-generating empires, right? Today, our goal is to uncover exactly how that happens. We're going to look at the modern blueprint for taking a simple blog and turning it into a highly scalable digital asset. If you'd ever wondered how folks actually build legitimate, lasting businesses out of websites, you are absolutely in the right place. Let's jump right in. First things first, we've got to completely bust a very common myth. Back in 1999, blogging was pretty much just online personal journals. You know, a place to share your day, some random thoughts, maybe a few photos from a family trip. But blogging today, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. We're talking about massive digital assets that influence purchasing decisions, generate huge leads for businesses, and create multiple solid streams of income for creators all over the world. It is a whole new ballgame. And treating it like a modern business rather than a personal diary, well, that's step one. So, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with 1, the modern blog, then move to 2, the foundation, 3, the ecosystem, 4, the business, and finally, 5, the blueprint, where we put it all together into an actionable roadmap. All right, let's kick things off with section 1, the modern blog, redefining the digital asset. The absolute most crucial point here is how we define this thing. A modern blog is a true digital asset. It's not a diary. It's a highly specialized mechanism that creates valuable content designed specifically to inform, educate, entertain, or solve very real problems for a specific target audience. Think of it like prime real estate on the internet. When you solve a reader's challenge, you build trust. And, well, when you build trust, you build a sustainable asset that actually accrues value over time. And who's running these sites? Today, it's definitely not just some guy in his basement typing away anymore. The creators behind these assets are massive corporations, educators sharing their deep expertise, influencers growing their personal brands, established news outlets, super dedicated niche hobbyists, and of course, full-time professional bloggers. Basically, anyone who wants to build authority, reach a global audience, or generate serious income online is leveraging this exact tool to do it. Which brings us right into section 2, the foundation, building your digital home. To really understand the architecture here, we have to separate a blog into 2 distinct parts, the front end and the back end. The front end is exactly what your readers see and interact with, right? Your header, the sidebar, featured images, the actual blog posts, your menus. It's kind of like the interior design of your digital house. But the back end? That's the engine that makes the whole thing run. We're talking web hosting, your content management system, or CMS, domain names, and the internal tags and categories you use to organize your information. You absolutely need a solid, reliable engine to power that beautiful front end. Now, let me ask you a question. When you're choosing a topic or a niche for your site, should you chase your passion or should you chase profitability? Well, the truth is, you need both. If you only have passion but there's literally zero audience or keyword demand, it's just a hobby and your site's going to be a ghost town. But on the flip side, if you only have profitability with absolutely no passion for the topic, you'll inevitably burn out long before you ever see success. A truly sustainable foundation requires balancing your personal interests with real audience research and long-term search demand. All right, let's move along to section 3, the ecosystem, content, traffic, and SEO. Look, if you take away only one thing from this entire explainer, let it be this. Organic search is priority number 1 for building sustainable traffic. Search engine optimization, SEO, is the absolute lifeblood of a modern blog. It's really about understanding search intent, figuring out exactly what your audience is typing into search engines, and then doing the deep keyword research to make sure your content answers their questions perfectly. When you win at SEO, you are earning traffic that works for you 24/7. But while SEO is king, building a sustainable ecosystem actually requires diversification. Organic search might drive the bulk of your long-term traffic, sure, but a healthy blog also captures visitors through social media, email marketing, and referral traffic from online communities and forums. Think of diversification as your ultimate safety net. It totally protects your digital asset from sudden search engine algorithm changes and ensures you always have multiple pathways to reach your audience. To manage that entire ecosystem, a modern blogger essentially becomes a multidisciplinary creator. You start with writing and research just to create the content. Then you need SEO and marketing to actually get that content seen by the right people. You use analytics to measure what's working, carefully looking at metrics like page views and bounce rates to constantly refine your strategy. And crucially, you need email list building skills. Setting up lead magnets and automated welcome sequences is how you retain that traffic you've worked so incredibly hard to get. And now for the section you've probably been waiting for. Section 4, the business. Transforming traffic into income. Once you have an audience that actually trusts you, a single blog can generate revenue in an incredible variety of ways. You can use display advertising or affiliate marketing, where you recommend products you genuinely love and earn a cut. You can do sponsored posts in partnership with cool brands, but the real scalability, that happens when you introduce your own digital products, online courses, memberships, or even specialized consulting and coaching services. Because you own the platform and you have the audience's trust, you can stack these methods together to create a highly profitable, multi-stream business. There is a fundamental mindset shift you really need to make here. A successful blog can become a powerful digital asset that attracts readers, builds trust, establishes authority, and generates income for years. Seriously, for years. We aren't talking about a fleeting social media post that just disappears into a busy feed in 24 hours. No way. We're talking about building a permanent home on the internet. You're creating a library of valuable resources that works for you around the clock, year after year. So how do you actually grow this business? The shift from traditional scaling to modern scaling is massive. The old way was incredibly slow. Manual drafting, editing every single word yourself, basically operating entirely solo. Today's creators, they use AI for deep topic research, rapid keyword analysis, and automating their workflow. They strategically hire freelancers to outsource repetitive admin tasks or handle specific content needs. This transition is exactly what allows you to step back from being just a writer and step into the much larger role of a media brand CEO. Let's bring it all home with our final section, the blueprint, your 5-phase roadmap. Okay, here are your setup phases. Phase 1 is learn. Before you build a single thing, you must understand the fundamentals. You need to choose your niche by balancing that passion and profitability we talked about, research your audience demographics, and really grasp the basics of SEO. Once you've got that, you move to phase 2, which is build. This is where you get technical. You register your domain, set up your CMS, create your essential core pages, and finally, hit publish on those very first foundational articles. And that perfectly transitions into how we expand. Phase 3 is grow. You've got to publish consistently, optimize your content for search engines, and critically, start building that email list right away to capture your audience. Once that consistent traffic starts flowing, you hit phase 4, monetize. Apply for ad programs, join affiliate networks, and begin launching your own digital products. Finally, phase 5 is scale. This is the big leagues, where you automate repetitive tasks with AI, outsource specialized work, and diversify your income streams to build a true media empire. We've covered a massive amount of ground today, all the way from the technical backend foundation to advanced monetization and scaling with AI. The internet provides the tools, and there is a huge audience out there waiting for the exact problems that only you can solve. So the tools are here, the audience is waiting. What will you build? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I absolutely cannot wait to see what you create.